From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, August the 9th, 2024. The leaders of the United States, Egypt, and Qatar issued a joint call yesterday for the conclusion of an agreement between Israel and terror group Hamas that will see the release of the hostages for a ceasefire. U.S. President Joe Biden, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, and Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani said it is time to bring immediate relief, both to the long-suffering people of Gaza as well as the long-suffering hostages and their families. The time has come to conclude the ceasefire and hostages and detainees release deal. The three of us and our teams have worked tirelessly over many months to forge a framework agreement that is now on the table, with only the details of implementation left to conclude. The agreement they wrote is based on the principles outlined by President Biden back in May, saying it is time to release the hostages, begin the ceasefire, and implement this agreement. The leaders said if needed, they were prepared to present a final bridging proposal that resolves the remaining implementation issues in a manner that meets the expectations of all parties, and called on both sides to resume urgent discussion this coming Thursday in Doha or Cairo to close all remaining gaps and commence implementation of the deal without further delay. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said today in response that pursuant to the proposal by the U.S. and the mediators, Israel will, on the 15th of August, send the negotiations team to a place to be determined in order to finalize the details of the implementation of the framework agreement. The families of the American-Israeli hostages being held in Gaza expressed appreciation to Biden, el-Sisi, and al-Thani for, they wrote, their continued leadership and mediation in the international efforts to bring our loved ones home. They said a responsible agreement is on the table and the negotiations must be finalized. There are still 115 hostages from 20 different countries who remain captive in horrific, life-threatening conditions in Gaza, including 8 Americans. The time is long past due to bring all the hostages home, end the plight of Gaza civilians, and avert a major regional war, saying world leaders must not waver at this crucial moment. The hostages who remain captive in Gaza have now been held for 308 days. Israeli troops continue to battle Hamas in Gaza, eliminating terrorists and destroying terror infrastructure, including the IDF shared today a 3-kilometer-long multi-story underground tunnel located and dismantled in central Gaza. The IDF said the tunnel consisted of multiple branches with several rooms, weapons, and means for long-term stay used by terrorist operatives. And the IDF continues to defend the northern border with Lebanon, responding to ongoing rocket attacks from terror group Hezbollah, eliminating terrorists and destroying terrorist infrastructure. The Red Alert platform said today that over 15 rockets were launched from Lebanon toward the city of Kiryat Shmona. Most, they said, were intercepted, but at least 2 hit the city, causing damage. No injuries were reported. And a man who was critically injured on Tuesday during a drone attack from Lebanon died of those wounds today. 27-year-old Mikhail Samara, a student in the Czech Republic, was in Israel visiting family. He was critically injured when an Iron Dome interceptor missile missed one of the drones and hit a highway that he was driving on near Nahariya. The commander of U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, General Michael Eric Kurilla, landed in Israel yesterday for his second visit this week, the IDF said, as the official guest of IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi. The two commanders, it said, held a situational assessment on security and strategic issues, as well as joint preparations in the region as part of the response to threats in the Middle East. The IDF said it will continue to deepen its relationship with the U.S. Armed Forces out of commitment to strengthening regional stability and coordination between the two militaries. This amid the threats from Iran and its terror proxies, including Hamas and Hezbollah. A statue of Anne Frank that stands in a park in Amsterdam was once again vandalized with pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel graffiti, the slogan "Free Gaza" spray painted in red on the base of the statue, and also red paint spray painted on the hands of the statue. The second such incident in less than a month. The vandalism was discovered on Sunday, August the 4th, which was exactly 80 years since Anne Frank and her family were discovered and arrested by the Nazis. The European Jewish Congress wrote in response, there is no other reason to target her statue other than she was Jewish. Defacing her memorial is vile anti-Semitism, not protest. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, August the 9th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, Justin Pines speaks with Elana Stein Hain on Jewish Insights. At 9:30, Abigail Pogrebin speaks with Shmuly Yanklowotz on In the Spotlight. At 10, Defending Israel with David Harris. At 10:30, a replay of the Hampton Synagogue Services, followed by a replay from Central. And coming up next, a look at this week's Torah Portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, August the 9th, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom. Am Yisrael Chai.